I'm really excited about today's show. We have a wonderful guest today, a South African patriot, a fighter for social justice, an entrepreneur who has created value in our country in the marketplace, a political leader, the founder and president of the United Independent Movement, Meneer Neil de Beer. Thank you very much for coming through. How are you doing?
I'm well. I always tell people, even if I'm not well, I'll tell them I'm well
Yes.
because you have your own problems. So I'm well,
No, that's great.
but excited to be with you today.
That's great.
So, yes.
Thank you
for
very
the
much for
opportunity.
coming. Thank you very much for coming. I mean, nowadays we want to lean more into positivity, and there's quite a whole lot of positivity that are happening in our country. I mean, we are the world champions in rugby, and it's great how the Springbok has united our country in all our diversities, disparities, and also differences as well. But sadly, this is not done on the political side. It's the total opposite. And I'd really want to know from you, Mr. De Beer, how is your organization going to unite our country? Because it seems like if you want to start a political party, one has to be divisive in order to gain traction in the South African society. How are you going to unite us, especially amongst racial lines? Before we do anything, before we go into the economy, how is the UIM, government in waiting, going to unite this country, just like the Springboks?
So, just to answer you, I don't know if you know it.
Yes.
I am a Rugby World Cup winner.
Oh, is it?
Yes, I am. So,
Yeah.
in 2005,
Yes.
I was part of the management of the under 21 Springbok team
Wow.
that won the World Cup in Argentina.
Wow, I remember.
I have a medal.
Yes.
So Peter de Villiers was my coach,
Okay.
and I was part of that management.
Yes.
I know how it feels.
Yes.
So firstly, to the Amaboko Boko,
Yeah.
well done. But what they did is they said to us as a nation that politicians in this country
Yes.
will alone not be able to change this country. The people must. So we are still looking for that good news, and we are going to ride that wave
Yes.
until it breaks onto the beaches. It's called the United Independent Movement
Yes.
for a reason. Because if you're a person like me that reads my Bible, there's a script in the Bible that is definitive to all my life. And it says that God says, if there is no unity, there shall be no blessing.
Yes.
But where unity exists, the blessing shall come. That's our fight here, is to unite. That's why our country's official motto is in Khoisan. Do you know how many South Africans I meet that don't even know it? But it's on your 5 Rand coin.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? Unity in diversity. Our founding fathers, Umadiba, decided that this country is so diverse, yet can be so united. And that's the way that the UIM is looking at everything that we are about to do. And we have a 5-point plan that we are going to institute. And that 5-point plan does not answer every hole in the wall. But it takes the priority at this current moment into only 2 words. And on the 1st of February next year, we will be launching the UIM election campaign with only 2 words.
With only 2 words.
And do you want to
What
hear it
is
first here today?
Yes, I really would.
It's very easy.
Yes, what is the
Jobs and justice.
Jobs and
You
justice?
like it?
Yes.
J and J. Jobs and justice.
Yes, yes.
Now, when you ask me what will the government of the UIM attack first in the first 100 days, jobs and justice.
Jobs and justice.
Because if you take jobs,
yes,
it actually is incumbent economy. If you create jobs, you create work, you create stability, you create dignity, you create opportunity.
yes,
And then you've got a society that automatically finds itself now economically viable jobs
jobs.
and justice. We will stop the looting. We will stop corruption. We will send you to jail. We will
Yes.
bring back law and order. We will make the people in this country safe again. And that starts with justice.
Justice.
And that is it. Jobs and justice. Yes, education, hospital, NHS, blah, 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 blah,
Yes,
blah, blah.
yes, but you're too-
right now,
Too focused on
Nomslanche.
jobs. Yes, namhlanje.
Uzibini apho point mamela nomslanche.
Yes.
Jobs, usebenza,
Yes. Sebenza.
and law.
Yes,
That's it.
that's it. So you believe in these two pivotal things.
I don't need 16 pillars to
you
keep up
just
my
need
house. I
two.
need a foundation. And that's built on jobs and justice.
Yes,
we are
yes.
running around and talking crap to people, selling them Ubuntu or Masakane. No, we will do this but you've done nothing
But we're not going to the root
to
cause.
the nitty-gritty.
Yes, yes.
Jobs and justice. You don't kill a tree by cutting off a branch. You kill it by removing the roots.
By removing
And that's what I will do with the ANC. I'm going to dig deep.
dig deep.
My own tree that I was part of for 32 years,
Yes.
I'm going to renew it.
It's an interesting one, Mr. De Beer. How was your organization formed? Because if memory serves me well, you were a member of the African National Congress.
Yes.
You played a pivotal role in dismantling and fighting the apartheid system through Umkhonto Wesizwe.
Yes.
As an Umkhonto Wesizwe intelligence operative. You became Nelson Mandela's national security advisor at the time when the country was facing a lot of security issues. What went wrong on that one? I'd really want to know. And obviously, the follow-up question would be, how was it advising President Nelson Mandela, and also working with him at the time of transition?
So interesting enough, I think people think that I was in his office.
Yes.
I was not.
Okay.
I was part of his regime.
Okay.
I always laugh when people say, no, I knew Mandela. No, you
Yes.
didn't. You knew of him.
Of him.
Many times you saw him, but you weren't in his inner circle.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I was not Mandela's national security advisor. I was an ANC national security advisor in the time
Okay.
of the presidency of Nelson Rolihlahla Madiba Mandela.
Yes,
So we
yes.
mustn't claim things.
Yes,
We
yes,
are
I
not.
see.
So
Okay.
my book that my brother wrote
Yes, yes.
is called Undercover with Mandela Spies.
Oh, okay. Bradley Stein.
Bradley Stein,
Yes.
Jeremy Vieri, Andre Lincoln.
Yes.
We are on the cover of that book, and that was one of the ANC intelligence cells
Yes.
that we were running. So I was part of that machine. But funny enough, my role pre-94
Yes,
was a
yes.
very interesting role in the ANC.
Okay.
And I still have my appointment letter
Yes.
coming from the old Shell House
Old child.
on the 6th floor.
Yes. Yes.
So I was the National Security Advisor to the Department of Arts and Culture,
oh, okay.
ANC pre-94. Now,
Pre-94.
this is the first time
Is it?
someone has asked me. So here's the story.
Yes, yes.
So when we were now released, when the ANC was now unbanded, they let Madiba go.
Yes.
We
Yes.
started preparing for Kodesa.
Yes. Yes.
Now, you will remember
Yes.
there was a cultural boycott in this country, not just an economic
Yes.
boycott.
Yes. Like the rugby and so on.
So international stars
Yes.
could not come to South Africa, and they did not. They went to Sun City because it wasn't part of South Africa.
We'll put that
So
on.
Queen and Elton John,
Yes,
they went
yes.
to Transkei. They
Yes.
went to Botswana.
Okay.
They could not perform in South
South
Africa. So they went to Sun City. That's where Saul Kersner
Yes,
got
Saul
it right to
Kersner.
build a casino.
Yes.
Because you will also remember, pre-94,
Okay.
no one was allowed to gamble.
To gamble as well. That was also the law.
So they opened one in Botswana.
We'll put it on. Okay.
That's the story.
Interesting.
So suddenly, the unbanning of Madiba, the unbanning of the ANC, the unbanning of the PIC,
yes.
suddenly every international star wanted to come to South Africa.
Yes.
So we had to immediately form a department in the ANC
Okay.
called Department Arts
Of
and Culture.
Arts and culture.
But now you can imagine an international star like Paul Simon, who was one of the first to
Yes.
come here.
With Black Mambazo.
Yes. He had to be protected here.
Yes.
Because can you imagine an international star now comes here
Yes, yes.
and his life is threatened. So my job actually became that every person that applied to come here, to perform here,
Yes.
we had to draw up the security plan
Okay.
from the ANC side
Yes.
to secure that person.
How to secure that
And that
person.
was my job.
Oh, nice.
So I met so many great people.
At that period.
But we took responsibility. And that is when my direct involvement again, from intelligence operative undercover
Yes.
to working within the structure to build up the momentum to 94.
Yes.
But here's the revelation. When people say that we have had 30 years of failure,
yes.
this is a lie. This is not true.
How so?
In the Madiba era, everything went well. We were in a massive mode of excitement. We were facing a new leader, a new country, a new flag. And 95.
Rainbow
World Cup.
Nation.
World Cup. When Madiba walked 95 onto that final, and he had the jersey, and he stood there, and white and black in that stadium said the word Nelson. That day I knew we are going to be okay.
Yes.
Black and white.
As a glimpse of home.
Screaming Nelson. Taxi drivers, homeless people, police hugging each other when we won.
Electrifying.
And then what happened? So Madiba brought three things to us. A new beginning. He brought reconciliation.
Yes.
And a hope of a rainbow nation. Today, the rainbow is there, but it's gone back to black and white.
It's gone black to black.
It's gone there again. And that has happened over 30 years. And at a point I had enough because this was not Madiba's dream. So all I did was, he gave me a command, Nelson Mandela. What did he tell me? Well, he told it to the country.
Yes.
This is Mandela's words. Direct. You can go Google it. He said, if the ANC does to you, which the apartheid government did to us, then do to them what you did to the apartheid government. I am now following his instruction.
His instructions.
That's
on
it.
That. Would you think, Mr. De Beer, that the Rainbow Nation was more of a PR stunt, that the active citizens of South Africa, either from the oppressed side or the oppressor, didn't work actively to make that a reality? Because, I mean, all the laws that were drawn, it's a document, but people need to actively work towards it. I think, don't you think it's also the fault of the citizens themselves not working towards this reconciliation, and then it would end up just as a PR stunt?
No. My chief of staff, Julian, always says, you've got to look at the optics.
Yes, yes.
The optics. I'm going to tell you something which is fundamentally brilliant.
Yes, yes.
The African National Congress got democracy by surprise.
By surprise. You reckon?
We weren't ready. No, when the apartheid government under de Klerk decided to surrender.
To surrender.
They did it at such a speed, we couldn't catch up. Now think about it.
Yeah.
When they decided to unban, do the referendum, nogal 'n referendum, and it was only whites that could take part.
Who could take
But
part
in that referendum, 65% of the white people that voted said, Baleka, Vula, open the gate.
Open the gate.
So we don't remember that, eh? It was actually the current oppressed that was sitting in the hands of the oppressor, who then had to vote in a referendum. And the majority said, we need to renew. It started there, sir. So not all white people, not all umlungu, hated not all of them wanted to continue. So we never recognized that. That actual freedom started at the point where people that were ruling had to vote if they now want to unrule. That's a dramatic step. So when we say the people of this country made a mistake, the people of no, they were put into a question, they answered the question, and then we went for a free for all. And I'll explain why. Did you and me in 94, 27 April, did you get a manual? Did you get a book? Did you get a chart? How we get on with each other?
Yeah.
Did you get it? No, you didn't. Did you go to halls in the public where they educated us about BEE and Usipu and Jan? Usimonye. No.
And re-educated us.
So we're a miracle. We're a miracle. We were told, you hate each other Tuesday, now you love each other on Wednesday. Amandla. Yeah, man, it's no mal, man. Are you mad?
Overnight.
So, please, look at that. We didn't have a civil war. We haven't murdered each other in the street. We didn't have a collapse of the society. We were told Tuesday, apartheid. Wednesday.
No more.
Wow. I don't think we know how well we actually did. But now, today, it's falling apart. The real cracks are coming. The optics can't keep the show in the front alive anymore.
It's an interesting one. But obviously with the time that the pressure was with the National Party, with economic sanctions, I mean, the Rubicon speech, the Groot Crocodile, when he made the Rubicon speech, most companies were leaving in South Africa. Sure. I think also you might also, many people might say, you are obviously pressed to reform.
Oh, you were forced to surrender.
Forced to surrender. Because of...
You know Boer. Kenya Boer.
Yeah,
you know a Boer.
I wasn't an Afrikaner high school.
But you know a Boer.
Yes.
I'm one. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you really think we would have given up? Do you really think a Boer will surrender?
I don't think
no.
So. I don't think so.
No. Yeah. Ons gaan vir jou moer totdat jy klaar is. En as jy klaar is, gaan jy nog steeds moer. The Afrikaner doesn't give up, sir. So what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened.
What happened?
Let's tell it straight. The Boers still wanted to fight, but they ran out of money. They ran out of money.
And the border war as well was
over.
So
I'm sorry. It wasn't because the Afrikaner surrendered. We just didn't have support anymore. It's a fact. And the clerks saw it. And they saw sanctions are coming. The last countries like Israel. We're going to get there. Yeah. Israel was one of the last countries
to support
that still supported the apartheid regime with money. It's a fact. The R4 rifle is the Galil. Is Israeli Galil. La. Our oranges went there. Our brandy went there. Then they just emptied kibbutz and they sold it and the money came back. But then at a point, America said to Israel, stop it now.
Stop it.
So the funding mechanisms of the world that still supported Britain, Israel, they started to
shrink.
But Cuba, Fidel Castro, China, Russia also started giving the ANC more money. The balance moved. Gaddafi. These were the people that started to say, we will support the apartheid regime to fall and we will back the ANC. The movement became too big. The concerts grew. So I'm telling you, they didn't surrender because they wanted to surrender. They surrendered because they couldn't continue to fight. No, this is a... Let's not talk rubbish. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
But now, how did they do that? Okay, we're surrendering. But we still want to keep okay. You understand? Take my house, but can I have the bathroom? So it wasn't a surrender. It was, okay, what can... So therefore, what did we do? We went to the negotiation table. Do you really think the ANC won Kodesa? No, sir. We didn't even have suits. We had to buy suits because some of us came out of the bush. We have never seen money. Joe Modise, Steve Twete, Chris Hani. The people had to buy suits because they were in camo.
Yeah.
So now you come to Boksburg. And we have to
sir.
negotiate. You
The
have to
negotiation.
negotiate freedom with a regime that has been in power for decades.
For decades.
So they came with suitcases and documents. We arrived with water. Amans, to listen.
Aman.
I am telling you, and I am willing to debate this.
Yes.
The African National Congress, Cyril,
Yes. He
got what he could get from Rolf, not the other way around. Rolf Meyer ran that meeting and they gave the ANC, they gave them everything. And we were so willing as the ANC to take freedom, we forgot to negotiate one thing which we lost in the first place. Do you know what it is?
The economy and the land. Umhlaba.
No, you can go vote. Yeah, we can vote. Yeah, but have you taken the ballot?
Yes.
You know, the voting paper.
The voting
have you taken
paper.
it to a shop to ask for a month? No, did you know that? You can take your vote paper and get a bread? Yeah, Sugaman. You can't. So we appeased the people that they could vote. And we were so happy that we could vote. We forgot that after the vote, you need to survive.
So you think Rolf Meyer ate Cyril alive?
I don't chow, my bro. Like cheese and yama. It was dripping like unkob, like umleka. You had it chowed him. No, this is a fact. And I think we must come to the point now where we must agree.
But state power is also important because, I mean, you own the army is under you. You've got state-owned enterprises, educations, and
How's it going now?
So you do have some form of levers to change the scheme of
but
things.
Sorry, Chief.
Yeah.
We have an army now, hey. Hey. Do we really?
Yeah.
We have a police force. No, sir. Because there's one thing that's killing us. We are sucking the system dry and we can't even service a police van. So what does it help that you've got state power when it turned into state capture?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm asking you.
When you chew up on the power that you have.
Sure. Then you have no more power.
No, you're quite.
The Minister of Transport loses her transport. And while she's fixing her transport, calling for more transport, the people that are supposed to protect her, they lose their guns. So they can't even do their job. So you've got bodyguards without guns, a Minister of Transport without transport. When that news item broke, I said to people, that is the whole country in one occasion. In one occasion.
Yeah. We can all agree, though, that our country is facing so many difficulties.
We're abused.
I mean, we've got if you could look at the massive unemployment rate, especially on the youth, more than 50%, the state institutions that are being weakened by the hour, the electricity crisis that's decimating small business on a daily basis. If we didn't have electricity, I mean, this interview wouldn't have been there. There's just a whole lot of problems that are happening in our country. How will the UIM solve this?
Common sense.
How will you solve this? Because obviously everyone who wants to vote wants someone to solve these issues.
Yes.
The joblessness, the economy that's not growing, the state institutions that are being weakened on a daily basis. If you could look at our middle class, I mean, our middle class is double taxed. They pay for tax, but they still pay for private healthcare, private education, and so on. And you're sitting with a broke middle class, a frustrated one. How are you going to solve these issues, Mr. Dipian?
Common sense.
Common sense.
Common sense.
How?
You don't need to be clever.
How?
Common sense, sir. Number one. 400 people in parliament.
Yes.
400 people. Can you please tell me how many of the 400 ever ran a business? Managed the business?
Exactly.
No, answer me.
No, you're quite
zero.
Right. They aren't.
And they are they are telling us what to do as business?
Yes.
You're silly. You're stupid. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. No, because a teacher always wants to teach. A doctor always wants to medicate.
Yes.
A psychologist always wants to fix your head. A politician always wants to be a politician, sir. The mistake we made was we allowed politicians to become a job.
Yeah.
Politicians are not supposed to be a job. They are supposed to be a service. So you are not in that bench sitting there. So can I tell you what we will change?
Yes.
No politician in the National Assembly
Yes.
will be able to run for more than 2 terms in Parliament.
In Parliament.
We will stop it.
Yes.
So you can only chow for 10 years to the maximum.
To the max.
And then you go. Then you need to be taking a break for
Yes.
5 years. And then if you want to, you can come back. So that's the first thing. Stop politicians from having a career as a politician. Secondly, here's the news. Here's the news, sir.
Yes.
Cut the cabinet.
Yes.
You know, when the Minister of Finance stands there
Yeah.
and says that we are spending more than what we earn, I told that idiot,
Yeah.
but then what are you going to cut?
Yeah.
But he won't cut his own.
He's not going to cut him.
No, he's not going to cut himself. No, so he's not going to cut the cabinet. I will cut it. You will only have 20 ministers, sir. That's it. The Minister of Police, Correctional Services and State Security
Yes.
will become one. One. Because where's Tabu? Where's Tabu Bester? Where's Tabu? They were asking each other, Minister of Police, where's Tabu? No, but I gave him to you. No, but I had him. You released him. No, but I didn't. So you had Justice, Correctional Services and Police going, no, but you had him.
Yeah.
No, but you had him. Hey, Putek. You all had him.
Yes.
That's an example of how stupid you are. No, but you released him. No, but you charged him. And then they all turned around and said to a private company, it's you. Rubbish.
And it's the cost. Imagine the cost of
3
ministers.
So what are we doing? We are condensing cabinet to only 20 senior line ministers. They will have deputies, and then we are cutting. That's cutting it.
That's cutting it.
But you won't do that as a minister because your own chow is going to be cut. So that's the second step.
Yeah.
Common sense.
Common sense.
Cut your leadership, cut your infrastructure, make sure that the departments are actually conduced and are working. That's a
Yes.
cut. I'm coming to my third one. Immediately have a interaction with a job census,
Job sense.
not a people census.
Yes.
I want to know who are the people in
Yes.
this country that are qualified as a plumber, a brickie, a mechanic, but he's sitting at his house.
Exactly.
Now, immediately, I have what? I have a database of workers.
Of workers.
Then I will find them jobs. So point 4, immediately, we are going back to work.
Yes.
We will fix our potholes. We will fix our structures. We will rebuild our clinics. We will employ South Africans first.
First.
That's the fourth one.
Are you?
And then
We'll come back to that one.
First. No. First. I'm adamant.
So-
That's why people say, yo, but Neil de Beer, you are the Trump of South Africa. No, I'm not. I'm Neil de Beer. I'm a patriot and I believe in common sense. And then once we know who has not got skill, Luleka, we now train them up again. And can I tell you what? We are reviving the TVET colleges. We are reviving them. And we are going to pump out of those colleges more diesel mechanics, engineers, bricklayers, plumbers, and electricians that you've ever seen. Can I tell you why? We are rebuilding the country. And the last one is very clear. It's absolutely clear. We will be revising the Constitution.
You want to revise the Constitution?
We will. Yes, it's time. It's 30 years later.
So you're calling for an amendment,
No, I'm asking for a revision.
a revision of it,
Is the Constitution,
working?
which we wrote in 94 as a knee-jerk reaction to something which the United Nations says was a crime against humanity.
Yes.
We wrote that Constitution with that in mind. 30 years later, does it still suit us? Does it still work for us?
Exactly.
Because currently, I must tell you that one was written with humanity in place.
in place.
I don't know if you know it. Our Constitution was copied from another one. Do you know which one?
The copy and paste. Probably from the
Sweden.
Sweden, first world country.
How much crime in Sweden?
Exactly. They all
Yeah,
work.
so they have people running around with AKs blowing up cars. No, they don't. Do you understand why we must revise it?
Exactly.
The criminal in this country has more right than the citizen. It's time we revise that. So a constitutional review must happen.
Must happen.
Now you do those 5. You cut government expenditure.
Cut government.
You make sure people can get jobs that are qualified. You create jobs by massive infrastructural development. you look at South Africans first. And I'm not just talking about people. I'm talking product. Why are we bringing in chickens from Brazil and putting up their ass water?
Yeah.
We inject them. So by the time that you've cooked it, it's half a chicken.
It's half a chicken.
So I'm going to tax you. Hear me?
So you're
I'm
going for
tax
tariffs.
you. If you want to bring in a chicken,
You gotta up the
you will get 25% excise import tax. Because we can do chickens umkuku here.
Yeah.
And the good news, the 25% import excise duty on a chicken,
Yes.
10% to government, and the other 15% invested into the chicken industry.
In the chicken industry. No, that's a good one.
Sorry,
but
common sense.
obviously, Mr. De Beer, on that one, right? If you up the tariffs 25%, but obviously the investment that's going into industry is not there. The electricity that is unstable, but obviously you're going to be having high tariffs, but the industries are dry.
Did you read the writer's book?
Yes.
Did you read his book?
No, I haven't read
We
his
don't
book.
have a power issue in this country. We have a corruption issue.
A corruption.
No,
So
I'll say this again on the record.
Yes.
They never collapsed Eskom because we didn't have the infrastructure. They plundered it like a hyena eating a springbok carcass.
So you
That's
think
the reason.
It's deliberate corruption.
It is absolute. Well, I'm not saying it. The writer, the CEO said so.
Yeah.
Zondo said so. Really? Zondo? 890,000 pages, 1.3 billion, 5 years. How many arrested? Don't talk kakia, man.
No, you
We're
quite.
talking rubbish.
The first one.
Listen, Chief. We are talking rubbish, okay? We are being played here.
So you're
played
saying we are
here.
being played on this?
Yes, we are. When you have a coal contract, when you
Yes.
have a diesel contract, and when you have a transport company and you are chowing, why do you want electricity to work?
Yes.
No, this is on purpose. It's sabotage. I'm not saying it. There's proof.
There's proof in it.
Isn't it weird? Suddenly things are working. Not any power problem in World Cup. How did they do it?
In that period of the World Cup.
No, my brother, I was born at night, not last night. Okay? This is a fact.
No, you're quite right.
So put the power back on because we will employ people that are competent. And here's the breaking news. No more BEE. It's over.
Yeah, for BEE.
It's gone. It's near. You read it. It's near. NEE. National Economic Empowerment. Stop now with this rubbish. You know why?
'Cause
You
it's
never got
favouring
an
a few.
advantage. You never got it. Luleka, what did you get?
I
Of my
didn't. I've never gotten any BEE.
And Patrice?
Yeah, he's
Tokyo?
He's gotten
Cyril?
but yeah.
Goes well, eh? I will stop there.
You'll stop.
No more BE.
With reducing government, Neil, are you gonna with a state-owned enterprise? What are you gonna do with them? Are you gonna sell them off?
Shut
are
them
you gonna
down.
privatize
Yes.
them
I am.
with a state-owned enterprises?
It's over. Well, it's over already. We're just bullshitting people. It's over. It's gone. SA is gone. How many billions did we get for it? It's still gone.
And the
Denel,
bailouts there.
gone. Eskom, finished. Iscor, left long time ago.
Iscor.
Portnet, bankrupt. Transnet, bankrupt. Post office, bankrupt. Yo, bankrupt.
But
It shouldn't be bankrupt.
But how are you gonna be? So if you sell them off and you privatize most of them, how are you then gonna rebuild state
White people
institution?
in the apartheid era
They were also
looked
empowered.
after white people.
They were empowered by the SAA, the
But come with me
ESCOMs,
now.
and the
Luleka,
ISCOs.
Come with me on the journey quickly.
Yes,
You want me to tell you?
yes.
I'm going to use an example.
Okay.
In the apartheid era,
Yes.
there was an unwritten rule that said no white man or no white woman in this country will go home hungry.
That was the.
Yes? So how did they do that? They didn't say to the white people in this country, we're going to make you rich. You're going to be wealthy. No, sir. They said you will not go hungry. Now, I'll take an example. When I used to be a boy, I used to ride the train,
Yeah.
Cape Town to Joburg with my grandmother. Every train station that we used to stop at, you used to hear a ping. You heard it, metal on metal. It sounded like this, ping,
Bing.
ping. Do you know what it was? There was a man with a hammer, and he was hitting the wheels. They call him a wheel tapper. That man was actually not a wheel tapper. He was a sound specialist because he could tap a train wheel and the ping that he got back would tell him if there's a crack in that wheel or not.
Wow.
They don't exist anymore. That was the creation of employment. No one, as a white person, went home hungry because they were employed. Postman. Remember the milk bottle?
The milk bottle.
You put it outside your door,
Yeah.
and the next day there's milk. Today they steal not only your milk, but your stoop as well. So that is what used to happen.
Yeah.
Now, I'll give you an example. SIA. In the apartheid era, and I'm not telling you my numbers are right, but my theory is correct. A pilot told me. In the old SIA, it took 342 people to physically, on 3 shifts, turn a Boeing around. Do you get it? 3 shifts?
3 shifts.
And a total of 342 people. The people that clean the plane, refuel the plane, check the maintenance, take your bags, clear the plane itself with nice cloths.
Yes.
It took 342 people on a Boeing to turn it.
To turn it. Yeah.
Right? That was job creation in the apartheid era. So when the ANC took over, they thought, great system. Great system. Why do you want to break something when it's not broken and fix it? Leave it.
Yeah.
That's what we did. But what did we do? So instead of 342 people today to change and turn around a Boeing, the Boeing hasn't gone bigger. It's still the same size. It's now 1,250
inflation.
people to turn around a Boeing. So what did we do, sir?
Look at that cost.
We took the SOE, SAA, which was the best airline granted in the world, and we enforced mass labor on them. We did the same with Telkom. We did the same with Eskom. We just loaded millions of people, and we forgot to understand that they need to be paid money for work.
The cost.
So it's, the cost hasn't gone up, Luleka. The Boeing is still the Boeing. But you have added mouths because what you promised the people was mass employment. You forgot that to create mass employment, you need to get mass income. That's why SAA died. If you took SAA to a real company and gave it to them and said, privatize, they didn't want to do that because the first thing that a person would do when he buys SAA is what?
You cut the labor. You cut the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. You don't have to cut the labor. You need to displace the labor to create more opportunity. That's it.
So you're saying that the money that you'll save from government, you'll divert it to private industries
Yes.
so that we can reindustrialize our country.
Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
You're an entrepreneur, aren't you?
Yes.
You could have gone to work for the SABC. Yes or no?
You're quite right.
But you decided, no, I want to empower myself. Do you know what is the biggest factual failure of the ANC? Not all of this. Can I tell you what it was? Simple.
What is it?
I'll tell you what it is.
Yes.
The biggest failure of the African National Congress.
Yes.
They could not take the poor and move them to middle class. They cannot do it. 30 years.
30
they
years.
could not take people that are lower class
Yes, yes.
and just move them
And move them.
to middle class. That's why today we still have something called a informal settlement. When does it become a formal settlement? It's not that the ANC don't want to. They don't have the capacity. Do you know why? They're communists. They are communists. No, they are.
Do you reckon?
No, I don't reckon. I was part of it. Do you not know that the total NEC of the ANC is in partnership with the SACP
the Communist
and
Party.
COSATU?
COSATU, the
Now,
tribe.
oil and water can exist in one barrel, but they will never mix.
They'll never mix.
They will never mix. So you sit with a person that was a mine unionist as a president of the country. You sit with a person that was all of them from the top structure. They were in unions. So they're communists. Now, what does a communist and a nationalist think? And then you get this red jumping jelly tot, Julius, who's a socialist. So you've got a jelly tot running around professing socialism and nationalism, and you've got a Ubuntu structure that comes out of the Kremlin that's still running this republic. A corporate, democratic, capitalistic society cannot function on the principle of communism. But are you mad? So we will never get it right. Because they will always satisfy Kusatu, which will always demand not a living wage, a lacquer wage, not a affordable wage. And you will have the communists running around still thinking that Lenin, Stalin and Mao Zedong is alive. Maar, mal, even the largest communistic countries in the world are no longer communists. They are not.
So you still think they very much influenced with communist and socialist
Totally.
ideologies?
Well, they profess it.
Everything has to be state-owned and,
In a communistic system, sir, the NEC of the ANC, like in the Kremlin, they are allowed to remove a president. No, because it is communist. It is decision by mass. That's why they call Cape Town the mother city.
Yes.
It takes 9 months to take a decision here. Now, can you imagine in this country, Cyril has to go to an NEC, tell the NEC, blah, 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 and if they don't like him, fire. No president in this country, in the democracy of this country, has ever finished his term. Only one. Nelson Mandela. Have you noticed?
After Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki was removed, Jacob Zuma.
Removed?
Yes.
Is this one going to be removed? Well, we don't know. But we have a bad history. Because we are not mature enough. We are going into something now that's even more frightening. Coalition politics.
Yeah, coalition. I want to talk about your moonshot pact.
Yes, which is now called the multi-party charter.
Multi-party charter with other parties.
Yes.
Don't you think, though, you're putting the cart before the horse on that one?
Because we don't like each other.
Obviously.
We really don't.
But when I was reading the article, it said like-minded parties.
Correct.
And I was like, what are the similarities
only
or
one.
the synergies that you would have?
There's only one.
What would it be?
Because say if I wanted to be with the DA, I would be with the DA. I'm not in the DA. In actual fact, I'm taking their members. Yes. I don't agree with the Freedom Front.
Yeah, the Freedom Front.
But I like their plus. I'm not agreeing with the IFP, but I love the IFP because of tradition. Blah, 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 blah. So we are not together around the table. Herman Mashaba said it so well. He said, we are not here to be your friends. But we all agree on one thing. One thing. Numbers.
Removing the ANC.
Numbers, sir. Not removing the ANC.
The numbers.
Numbers. This is a fact.
So there is no ideology behind it.
There is. The ideology is that at one point we decided and understood that there will be a separation between light and dark. Yes. That there will be an entity that thinks of common sense, and then there's an entity that are just common. Now, when you sit down and you believe that people like Isanko, the DA, IFP, Action SA, ACDP, SMP, no, they're not. So that is who we are. We are 8 parties. Do I believe in this? Yes, you're bloody right I am. No, you are. Because can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
In the Second World War, you had a Russian, you had a Frenchman, you had an American, and a Briton. No, you had Stalin, Roosevelt, De Gaulle, and Churchill sitting next to each other. Why?
They had to unite
against who?
A cause.
Against Hitler.
Nazi Germany.
Hitler. So when they all decided, a communist, a capitalist, a socialist, and a total Democrat, those 4 men sat there. They absolutely didn't like each other. They were old. They were between 80 and Maroc, and they sat there. But there's one thing they knew. If they don't form an alliance today, they will be eating sauerkraut and bratwurst for the rest of their life in Paris. And this man, Prime Evil, will come and moor them until they all say Heil Hitler. And they all said, Samur, Shaya. And then they moored this poor guy until he had to surrender. And what happened? Well, they all went back to Russia. They went back to France. They became enemies again. But for that moment, that day, they united. So that's the story of the multi-party charter. We must get together, no matter our differences, and look at an ANC of today, not the past, and tell them you have become evil. You are now doing to us which the oppressors did to us, and you are now not doing it anymore undercover. You are doing it in the day. Now, hear me? Dan gaan jy kakkou maat. You got to hear me very clearly. You murder our people, you starve our people, you talk rubbish to our people, and you have taken one thing away. You have taken our hope away. It's over. Now, here we come. This battle group. Small ships, big ships, submarines, and an aircraft carrier. But we are one battle group. We are coming, sir. Hear me well. We are coming. And when we create this hope, irrespective of race, color, history, religion, and your understanding of the past, we are going to create an alternative government, not because we want to, but because we must. Another 5 to 10 years, of this government ruling us, there will be nothing left. It will be like the Lion King movie when the hyenas took over the Pride Land. But it is weird when you know the movie. It was a lion that was leading the hyenas. Scar. We are at that phase right now. We need a Mufasa. And it's time.
There isn't, and obviously within the multi-party charter, there isn't like a dominant force, like which the DA has most of the numbers. They would be,
Can I ask you a question?
Or is it all like an equal footing?
We're all equal, but can I ask you a question? How long do you know me now?
I know you for about over 6 years.
And when did you meet me?
Today.
And how long have we been talking?
We've been talking about for 40 minutes.
Do you really think while I'm sitting in a meeting that you are going to bullshit me? That you are going to overpower me? No, I'm asking you. Do you think? No.
No, you're a very dominant.
So I'm a small party. I'm now commonly known in the multi-party charter. I'm known as +1.
+1.
I am +1. Because you need 50.
Yes.
+1.
50
I'm +1. Without me, you will not win. Because why? The Springboks did 3 things 3 times. They did what? +1.
+1.
They won with 1.
With 1.
So every time we won the quarters, I wrote to the MPC, +1. Then semi, +1. And at the victory, I phoned John Steenhuisen. He was celebrating and I said, John, we just won +1. I want you to remember this day. So there's a joke now. I am +1. But I am ready with 1.
No, you've done
I'm
great.
ready.
I mean, your political party has done really great. I mean, even like in the local elections, you guys have done
3
great.
metros.
And you will contest all 9 provinces,
No.
right?
5.
Oh, just 5.
Yeah.
You're going to be
5.
focusing Western Cape.
Western Cape, Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, Free State, Gauteng. Yeah, I know where my people are.
And the branches are set up, the structures are...
We are ready. I get 973,000 hits on my TikToks. That's a million in one TikTok now.
Exactly.
That's huge.
And I follow you as well on TikTok. Yeah. I listen to a lot.
And I never ever make it a racial debate. I never make, because I am not a racial debate. I gave my life for another race to be free. Do you think I'm mad? No. I love people.
How did you deal with the backlash, Neil, from the Afrikaner community? Because I know every time, like for example, if you could look at Martinus van Schalkwyk, he will have like the nickname Martinus Kortbroek van Schalkwyk, and how did you deal with that? Because obviously, I'm sure you did get a lot of backlash from the still now.
Ahmed Katrada said it.
Yeah.
Ahmed Katrada, Uncle Katie.
Yeah.
Told me how to deal with it one day.
Yeah.
He said, a black man that fights for black liberty will be understood. But a white man that fights for black liberty will never be forgiven by his own.
Mm,
So you can
interesting,
imagine
yeah.
when the police wanted to get me, they just didn't want to get me. They wanted to kill me because they hated me because I was one of them. Variants, Kenya Boer. I am one. And to me, it was never a political fight, Luleka. It was a dignity fight.
A dignity fight.
I couldn't understand. No, but listen to me. Listen to me. I was a racist. You, at one stage,
and
I was with the apartheid government. At one stage, I was willing to go to war against the Swart Gevaar. I was in the security police as an agent.
and the Roy Gevaar.
You!
But the
Because of why?
The indoctrination.
Sure.
Were you getting the indoctrination from in the army?
Everywhere. When you go to school, there were no black people in your school. There were no black people in your church. We were told, this is the enemy. This is the anti-come now. Let's face it.
Yeah.
We were told, like Hitler told the German people, the Jew, is the Antichrist. People that were educated, Luleka, put on the Nazi uniform. People that were normal suddenly became Nazis. This is what happened in this country. We were conformed.
So it was mass indoctrination.
Of course it mass.
Swart Gevaar and Roy Gevaar.
And then my time came. My dawning of the day. My eureka moment came.
Yeah.
One day. Because we were interrogating a Swart Gevaar. And in the book it says how we interrogating, we called him Kumaru. And suddenly he was looking at us. And he told us about the other side. About Walter Sisulu, Governor Mbeki, the Freedom Charter. We never knew. Because you are not supposed to know.
All of that.
No, sir. Because if you want to make someone an enemy, you need to tell that person who you want to fight the enemy, this is the enemy. So that's all we had. We went to school, we went to cadets, we went to the army. 17-year-old boys were shipped to fight a war that they did not understand, but were told that this is a righteous war. Young white people of 17 and 18 died on a border in a foreign country and were never told that this is actually a personal war of a few. 18 years old, Leleka, I was in combat in Angola. At the age of 21, I was a hardened soldier. 21. So what life did we have? Every man of white descent in this country, between the ages now of 50 and up, they have trauma now. They have got huge nightmares. We are not dealing with it. So I'm not saying it was a good thing, but to understand a problem, you have to meet the problem. And that's why I'll go back to what I said to you in the beginning. We are a walking miracle. There are MK veterans walking around that have to scratch in bins today. This is wrong.
Yeah.
And this is my problem. This is my problem in the country. Politicians today are dividing us again. The colored people for the colored, the black for the black, the Muslim for the Muslim, the Christian. This is wrong, Luleka. We cannot do this. We have a beautiful country. We just have bad management. And I will change it.
That's the leadership we need.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Mr. De Beer. The other part I just really wanted to ask you is, obviously the question we were supposed to go on to the question on I want to talk about small businesses, right? And obviously you were an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur. Sure. Our country needs a whole lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses to solve our problems, firstly, to create value in the marketplace, and as a result, create jobs. But obviously, if you look at the challenges that has been faced by entrepreneurs, the electricity crisis, cash flow issues, how are you going to assist entrepreneurs, especially access to capital as well? How is the UIM going to assist entrepreneurs to scale their businesses and to make sure that they can create value in the marketplace, and that would result into employment? Because obviously we spoke about the skill lack through politicians that were not entrepreneurs, right? And they just are administering, but they were not entrepreneurs. But we need more leaders that were entrepreneurs that know the problem, and then they can formulate policies to sort that out. Yes. How are you gonna?
Every good entrepreneur has three things:
Yes.
a clear vision, a compatible X factor in his product, and one thing that we don't have that we will bring in: mentorship. We don't have mentors. The mentors we had are too old. The mentors that are busy making their own money.
Yeah.
And the mentors that want to are being blocked to do so. So what will I do? We will start what we call entrepreneurial innovative hubs, the EIH.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurial innovative hubs will be centralized in every municipality in this country. We will then industry-wise these EIHs, and we will segment them into the financial sector, the product sector, the delivery sector,
Yes.
the construction sector. We will then go to industry because they're there. We will go to INJC, Harvest, APSA, Volkskas, if they still exist, and we
Yes.
will tell them, you by law, you see, sorry, we are doing it today under BEE.
Yes.
You've got to be BEE compliant. You've got to have a certain amount of equity. This is not working, sir, because you are leaving out a proportion of colored, Indian, and white people. Sorry, talking. But are they not South Africans? So we are losing that entrepreneurial spirit where, you know what, a guy that sits in Khayelitsha, Kayamandi, Nyanga, Langa, he is an entrepreneur, sir. He has to do Chisnyama. He has to do he's an entrepreneur. But what does he not have? He does not have the skill to move to the next level of formal. So one, we will create innovative hubs funded not just by government, but by industry.
The private sector.
Must have that partnership.
Yes.
It's not because they don't trust the government now. Sorry, they've given up. They don't give money anymore. So I will bring back the innovative hubs. The small and medium enterprise minister will no longer be a ministry. It will now be a division of the Minister of Finance. Again,
So you're
we
gonna
will
put it
collapse
under-
it again and make it one.
Yes.
Because the Minister of Finance is head of the Treasury, he's head of SARS, he's head of taxes. So that's where we will now put it in one hub to tell them, when China with 1.3 billion people went through lockdown in COVID, do you know what they did? Instead of doing external business,
Yes.
they turned their whole economy internal. Now, we can do it in this country with 60 million people, but here's the thing. There are more Somalians, Pakistanians, and Nigerians running spaza shops in our communities. And here's the thing. I don't mind if they do, but here's the new thing that will happen on the 1st of August when I become a minister or a member of government.
Yes.
You're going to pay tax. And if you don't, we will remove you. Is that not fair? They're running cash businesses.
Yeah.
Good on them. They are waking up early in the morning. They are going to buy the bread. They can do that. But they are not adding to the economy. And I will tax you. So I'm not another guy I saw the other day, another political leader that said he's going to deport them en masse, put them in... Sir, how? We don't have planes, trains and trucks anymore. So you're going to march them out. Good luck. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm saying if a Zimbabwean in this country is working in a restaurant because he wants to work, he's educated to work, and he can work, don't stop that man.
Yeah.
Tax him.
Just
Tax him, make him legal, and if he's not, then I'm telling you now, I will not only march them out of this country, I will use trains, planes, aircraft, and anything. They must leave.
So
South Africa first. You're out. No, sir.
So you have
no paper, no vapor. You're out.
But Mr. De Beer, don't you think that sometimes that anger must also be diverted to the Home Affairs Department?
Sure.
Right? Because they are the one
Sure.
that are administering this instead of mobilizing citizens.
Sure.
Because it can end up in with a problem.
But you know where it starts?
Because if a neighboring African countries, we do depend. I mean, Johannesburg gets its water from Lesotho.
Sure.
We get some of our power from Mozambique in Cahora Bassa. So there is some, we do also depend in these neighboring countries.
No, we don't.
It's in some
No, we
form.
don't.
Economically, there is some economic
it's business.
issues. Yes, it's business.
Why are you making it now an issue of social development and human? No, Putsak, man. It's business, Buti. It's business.
Yes.
Do you think they give us water free?
Yes,
we pay for it.
But
so you gave me bad water, take your water and shove it. So it's not a humanist thing. Okay, so what you are saying is it's back to slave trade. So because So if I give you water, you're not giving me water. I'm paying it. So just because I'm your neighbor giving you water, I can let people through the border? When did that happen? Yes. That's not the law. So whoa. The law will be clear. I will still water and buy water from the Lesotho Highlands project. I will still get certain of my minerals and stuff from Zimbabwe. I will still allow them, because they're a landlocked country, to come to my country and use my richest bay. But we'll pay, okay? That is the law. Yes. So I'm telling you, our attitude blaming Home Affairs is all right, but that's not where the problem lies, Luleka. It's not at Home Affairs. It's at the border.
Yes.
So guess what? I am now going to move by doing the following. There will now be a new department. It will be the Ministry of Defense, Intelligence, and Border Control.
And
sorry, did you hear that?
And Border Control.
And Border Control. That's the new ministry that will be collapsed into defense. Because when you ask the current Minister of Defense to explain defense, she'll tell you it's the thing around her house. Defense. So what we've got to do now is defend. So we will have the Ministry of Defense, Intelligence, and Border Control. Our own IRIS. We are bringing it in. Stop them at the border. Make the control at the border legal.
Yes.
And then we will start sifting through the process of legal and non-legal. The fight here, Luleka, is not against the people, my God, that are here legally. When I went to Berlin 3 months ago, do you know what I had to do to get into Germany? Do you know how many papers?
The checks and
balances. How many critical criminal checks? They did 3 things not. They didn't take my blood, my spit, and my attitude. That's the only thing they didn't test. What makes them different to us? Not racism, not xenophobia. Law and order. Certain politicians are telling you that, but they are not schooled and were not in uniform to implement that. I am. We are not going to shut the borders of South Africa. We are going to control the borders of this republic.
How optimistic are you about South Africa and
cancer.
The future?
I have cancer. I've had cancer now. No, it's okay. I have it. You don't. So don't be sorry. Be optimistic. So you know what? Cancer's come back to me 3 times. It's come back every time. Cancer is not me. It's an illness that came to attack me. I am fighting cancer like I used to fight a war. I will look at the target, I will look where you are spreading, and I will murder you until you are gone, until my last day. So when you ask me, how enthusiastic am I about this country, even that I have cancer, I am sitting in front of you, fighting for my country. I shouldn't. I should be enjoying these days with my children and my new grandson, Aiden. I'm not. I'm on the trench, and I've made a decision. This country is worth fighting, working, arguing, debating for. And even if it is my last days on earth, I'm telling you one thing. The people of this country are actually the gems and the resources that we are not recognizing. One day, Luleka, one day, we will realize that. And the day that this country realizes that we are better together than apart, we will become one of the most brilliant countries in the world. And for that I will say, Aman. And Aluta.
Aluta continua. Thank you very much, sir. Baie
Siyabonga.
dankie.
Baie dankie.
Waardeer
I love
dit.
your Afrikaans.
Right.
And thank you for
Yes,
the
thank you.
opportunity. And you're a great man.
Thank you
And
very
let
much.
your spirit ignite more. That's what we need.
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.